accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportions. What it means is Old Testament, real wrath of God type stuff. Fire, brimstone, rivers and seas, boiling. Great human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. That's scary.
Maggie Smith, a scene-stealing British actress who won Oscars for The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, and California Suite, later enchanting audiences as a professional witch in the Harry Potter juggernaut as my dear Professor McGonagall. And also, in the TV series, she played an actress and Sly Dowagner, Countess, in Downton Abbey. Maggie Smith died September 27th at a hospital in London. Maggie Smith was 89. Her family announced the death in a statement released by publicist Claire Dobbs, but did not provide any further details. For most of her 6 decades in show business, Ms. Smith defined herself mainly as a theatrical actress, with memorable roles in London's West End and also on Broadway. A comedian of incandescent wit and cunning power, she portrayed both Oscar Wilde's class-conscious Lady Bracknell and Shakespeare's ruthlessly ambitious Lady Macbeth with spellbinding precisions. The boundary between laughter and tears is where Maggie is poised always, said playwright Alan Bennett, who wrote plays and screen treatments for Ms. Smith. Once told the New York Times in an article, and she said the critics placed her pantheon of exalted dames of stage, including Edith Evans, Peggy Ashcroft, Eileen Atkins, Joan Plowright, and Judi Dench. Ms. Smith was a founding member of Laurence Olivier's National Theatre Company in 1963, and later was a marquee actress of the Stratford Festival's Classic Repertoire Company in Ontario. On Broadway, she won a Leading Actress Tony Award in 1994. Lettuce and Lovage. Did I say that right? A comedy Peter Shaffer wrote expressively to celebrate her extraordinary gifts of glee and glitter. She played a tour guide who cannot stomach the mere of life. Her motto, enlarge and live in, enlighten, and is given mischievous, sometimes historic embellishment as she parades visitors through a stately British home. Only when she loses her job does her exuberance falters, revealing her desperation at her age and prospects, but not for long. Miss Smith's distinctive appearance, a short auburn, saucer-shaped blue eyes, a willowy frame, was not in the mold of the traditional showbiz glamour queen, but she exuded a restless theatrical energy with her twitchy comic gestures, and a biographer who once called her a comprehensive guide to the nervous system. Yet when her eyes relaxed, they tempered her cheekiness and revealed depths of warmth, joy, and despair. Her performances, even at their most flamboyant, could feel like intimate encounters. In 1980, New York Times artist critic Mel Gustave, how do we say that? Anyways, Mel. You remember Mel? Yeah, okay. Great time with old Mel. Oh, Mel. Listen, I can't get into talking. Anyways, Mel praised her portrayal of novelist Virginia Woolf in Virginia, an Edna O'Brien drama staged at Stratford, as an act of intuition and of acting alchemy. I'll say that again. Acting alchemy. She has merged her own vivid personality with that of her charismatic subject, is one of the things that he wrote. Hair swept back, clad somber browns, with a voice that seemed coated with quicksilver and a manner to match. She becomes the strange and disquieting creature who seems to move about in spasms from joy to abject despair. Ms. Smith generally resisted interviews, but in a rare sit down, she recalled a difficult upbringing with dour and withholding parents and a crushing first marriage. She much preferred, she said, to become someone else through her work. There are times when I'm not even sure I have a real life, she said. I know it's only on the stage that I feel really alive. For a certain length of time, I have to become a person whom I totally believe in. I would like to be somebody who is really beautiful. Maggie Smith was self-conscious about her looks. What she described as this problem face reminds me of Donald Sutherland and his mom telling him, hey, you have a face that has character. Mom, am I handsome? Is what Donald Sutherland said. No, son, you have a face that has character. Maggie Smith, she was also self-conscious about her looks, like I said. But her forays into cinema were met with near universal acclaim. As one of the least known members of the all-star cast of the VIPs in 1963, an airport melodrama starring Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor, and Orson Welles, Miss Smith played a secretary secretly in love with her boss. Critics called her scene with Burton's wealthy businessman, in which she makes a dignified plea on behalf of her financially strapped boss, the unexpected emotional high point of an otherwise forgettable soap opera. And Burton, a master of upstaging, admiringly pronounced her guilty of scene stealing on the order of grand larceny. She earned an Oscar nomination playing Desdemona in the 1965 replays of her National Theatre stage triumph in Othello. Opposite of Olivier's Moore, she won Best Leading Actress Academy Award for playing dangerously misguided teacher in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie in 1969, based on a novel. Set at a Scottish girls' school in 1930s, it was a disturbing portrayal of a charismatic but narcissistic school mistress, an admirer of fascism who tries to play God with her pupils and unwittingly hastens the death of one of them. Writing in New York Magazine, somebody said they called Miss Smith and her portrayal of perfection in a role that displays her perfection as a performer. She took home a supporting role Academy Award for California Suite in 1978, based on a Neil Simon comic portraying an aging British actress on Oscar night who is in denial about her career and marries to a gay man, played by Michael Caine. Her noted comic screen roles included a scatterbrained secretary, a secretary of a fraudster in Hot Millions in 1968, a saucy music hall star who sings "I'll Make a Man of You" and "Oh, What a Lovely War" in 1969. The lusty title character Travels with My Aunt in 1972, which brought another Oscar nod. Award after award after award after award. Her supporting role as former English woman touring Italy in a Merchant Ivory film, A Room with a View, in 1985, earned a 5th Oscar nomination. The Lonely Passion of Judith Hearn, 1987, which she played an alcoholic Irish spinster, was a revelation of a stripped-down pathos. And then there is what many remember her to this day. She debuted as Professor Minerva McGonagall, deputy headmistress at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which was released in 2001. The start of a long association with the franchise. The same year, she also received her 6th Oscar nomination, playing the acid-tongued Countess of Trentham in the 1930s murder mystery Gosford Park. Many critics considered the show, which attracted a devoted following, a pale imitation of Upstairs, Downstairs, another British period drama from the 1970s and 80s. The show brought her 3 Emmys for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a drama. Miss Smith's first marriage in 1967 was to Robert Stevens, a leading man with the National Theatre. But as Stevens confessed in his self-excoriating memoir, he found it hard to contain his ardor, being that he was taken aback by alcohol and women off stage and his jealousy and Maggie's success. The marriage, they had 2 sons, but it imploded. But then, as time moved on, Miss Smith won an Emmy for My House in Umbria in 2003, an HBO film about a romance novelist with a sordid past. Not long after making the BBC miniseries David Copperfield, which starred Daniel Radcliffe as well, her young co-actor in the Harry Potter series. The interesting thing about all of this is that she was named Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire. I'm going to say that again. Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, the equivalent of knighthood. This was in 1990. In a career that brought her many laurels, theater remained her greatest comfort. On the London stage in 2019, at 84, she portrayed Brumhilde Pomsel, secretary to Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels, in the one-woman show, A German Life. I'm never shy on stage, but I'm always shy off of it. You see, the theater is a different world, a much better world. The theater is full of people looking for prefabricated security. They find it there, nowhere else. Outside, marriages crash. Life goes on. The thermometer freezes. Inside, the walls are padded against the world. Maggie Smith, the scene stealer of stage and screen, has died at the age of 89. The British actress won Oscars for The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie and California Suite. Enchanted audiences during her time as a sly countess on the TV series Downton Abbey. But probably the thing that we all know her for is our professor. She is the professor, and that is Professor McGonagall. Maggie Smith, dead at the age of 89. Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios here at the University of Richmond. You're listening to the only award-winning radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam NewsMan, and this is Saturday Morning.